Alright, so here's a quick tutorial on how to make a snakeskin bracelet pattern without a buckle. What you're going to need is two different colors of paracord, a Sharpie, a lighter, pair of scissors, sharper the better, and a ruler. Alright, so the first step, and probably the trickiest, is to get these two ends of the two different colors of paracord to be melted together. So grab your lighter, and what you want to do is get a good bead of the melted plastic on the end. Get rid of all the frayed bits and get a good wet bead of plastic. I find it helps a bit to keep the ends, keep them hot, just alternate a little bit. And once they look like they're almost ready to bead and fall off, and quickly grab the two ends. And you'll be able to tell if you've gotten them hot enough, because they should go together almost immediately. If you can, just hold it there for a couple seconds till it cools. Once you've given it a little time, you can, if there's any wet left there, you just squish it down a little bit. So what you get is a nice, good melted joint there. So once you've got a good joint here, you're going to need to measure out 6 feet in total of the paracord. So if you grab a ruler here, set it up, you can see that. Take the end that you've melted together, and if you go 3 lengths of a ruler, then times 2, that'll give you your 6. So 1, 2, and 3. So just here you can give it a cut. And then again with that lighter, just melt those down. You're not going to stick these two ends together. Essentially you're just melting them so that it's easier to thread them through the knots that you're going to make. So you've got your three feet of each color, so 6 feet in total, and you've got it melted together at the one end and then just melted at the other so it won't fray. Okay, so you've got 6 feet of cord, 3 feet of each color, been melted together on the one end, and on the other just melted so they're not frayed. That 6 feet should give you enough cord to make a nice loop on one end, 25 knots, and then a closure on the other end. It makes an 8-inch bracelet, should fit any kid. Alright, to make the first knot, bring up the end here that has the two cords melted together and just offset them by a couple centimeters. Bring the orange around, making a loop around the orange that's above the melted area so that this can move freely, but keep the melted area below the top loop. And what we want to do is bring the blue all the way around and down through the hole that we made so that it passes by the melted area. you have is that almost a pretzel looking thing here going this way, and just start to cinch that up. And you're probably wondering why the Sharpie is there. To get that knot that you make on the end through the closure, you've got to keep something that's about the diameter of this Sharpie. So by putting the Sharpie in there, now we can tighten this up. So we keep the end open while we're tightening this. Just pull on each strand, get it nice and tight, and you can just flex it a little bit there too to snug it up against the marker. So once you've got that done, make another loop around the blue, and then the same thing. Bring the blue all the way around and down through. So you've got the blue coming through the loop. Once you've got it through, you just snug up the orange. You've got two of the same. Again, just pinch the knot between your thumb and forefinger, and then tightening up each individual strand. Just pushing them up so that the knots are just next to each other. One more. Bring the orange all the way around. So that you have a loop here around the blue. Blue comes all the way around the back and down through. So you get it. And then on its side here, pulling the blue through the orange loop, and then just snug up the orange. Again, just making them tight. Hold that knot between your fingers and snug up each cord. One more time. Loop around the blue. Hold it snug. And then bringing the blue down through next to the blue. All the way through there. And then snug up the orange. So we have it there. It's a little bit loose. So just pinching the knots and pulling on either side. So once you get going, you've got this hole that will stay open, and then you've got your knots here. Once you've finished about 25 knots, you'll be left with around 5 inches of cord left here. Seems like a lot, but you need this to do an overhand knot to make the closure. So leaving about 1 centimeter or so here, make yourself an overhand knot. And then tighten these up equally so that you've got a good knot here. You can leave these on once you've got it sized properly, or you can cut them off. But essentially what we need to do here is to have these cords through and a knot that will fit through the loop on the other end. By doing it this way, you've got a closure that doesn't require a buckle and stays on quite securely. In order to go from what you have here with the extra cord off the end to this one here that won't come untied or unraveled, you're going to have to cut the ends off these and then melt them. So we take our scissors and, leaving a good 1/2 centimeter or so, give these a cut. Now we want to get these good and melted, but trying not to burn the ends. We want to try and keep it from turning black and just keep a bit of the color that's there. So we're going to be heating these up, and once they're melted down almost to the knot itself, we use the scissors, which have a cool and non-stick surface, just to round the end off. So using the lighter, get them good and hot. Being careful not to melt the knot itself, but just the ends that are sticking out. Using the base of the flame tends to keep it from getting too blackened. So there, once you've got a good, if we push this into the scissors, it rounds it off. So now these are melted, the ends are melted right into the knot itself, and it can't fray. It's a little rough on that one spot, so you can just trim that down. Or you could melt it and round it again. But again, that just gets rid of the extra slack on the end and gives you a knot that can't come undone. And there you go.